welcome the Vice President of Research for Skift, Heisha Wong, and Senior Partner at McKinsey & Company, Kevin Nair.
Good morning and welcome to Skift Global Forum. Glad to be here in person again. So I'm Heisha Wang, VP of Research at Skift. Last year, we partnered with McKinsey to write a comprehensive report on the state of the travel industry, documenting COVID's unprecedented impact. So the partnership this year is focused on a topic that we find top of mind for many travel executives now, at the moment, today. That's the future of customer experience in the travel sector. We are about probably 2 or 3 hours in, including the open sessions already, right? You heard a lot about the future of us is the future of mobility. So if that's the case, that means the customer experience, so-called customers, needs to be reshaped. So our new report entitled Rebooting Customer Experience to Bring Back the Magic of Travel assesses the current state of traveler experience. Our research found mixed signals so far. So on one hand, we feel the customer reviews didn't change much. We found a little, for instance, a little change in hotel property and vacation rental ratings during COVID. Additionally, our own Skift Travel Tracker survey showed that travelers actually were mostly satisfied with their recent experiences. However, we also found troubling undercurrents, so we all know that. So extremely negative traveler sentiments are on the rise, and we also seen widespread staffing challenges, right? We also see a lot of pared down services and amenities. So how do travel companies prioritize CX to reboot loyalty and really future-proof their business for the months and the years to come? Our report provides 3 recommendations for travel companies to set new standards for CX. So Kevin will bring these recommendations to light through a panel discussion. But before I pass on to Kevin, I think we have one slide there. So here is about Skift research again. Rafael mentioned a lot about Skift research already. If you're interested in learning more about us, come talk to us at the Skift booth. And again, we have a 20% off for all subscriptions for attendees. And on to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Heisha.
Thank you.
So good morning, everyone. Good morning to everyone online and streaming this morning, and all of you here at the TWA Hotel. As you heard, I'm a senior partner at McKinsey. I get the great pleasure of co-leading our global customer experience and design practice. So I get to work across sectors on customer experience, client experience, patient experience, member experience, guest experience, passenger experience. However, my first love was always travel. So I started serving airlines, cruise lines about 13 years ago at McKinsey and have continued all across all types of different travel and hospitality and transportation, even now mixing in some space tourism, some glamping, as you'll hear shortly, and of course, still all the things that help to bring customer experience to life. As Heisha mentioned, we have this report out on McKinsey.com and Skift.com on rebooting customer experience. There's a lot to still happen here. There's a lot that needs to happen, and we try to think through that. You'll hear about the 3 key themes here: aim high, look forward, move fast, as what we think needs to happen as we re-enter this growth and boom in travel that I think from everyone from Brian Chesky yesterday to all the panelists you'll hear later today believe in and want to believe in. And so we'll be covering that Couple fun statistics, right? So if you look at previous downturns, previous shocks in the system, customer experience leaders, shareholder return is 3 times everybody else in their peer categories, right? So people who already excel at customer experience come out of those shocks with a better customer experience to consistently deliver better returns. In addition, one of the unique things about this COVID downturn, this COVID shock has been trial. Consumer trial has never been higher. 75% of consumers, the research shows, are trying new brands, which is many, many times what it was previously, because we as humans tend to have very strong habits. This shocked us out of some of those habits, and we're trying all kinds of new things. So with that, we'll get started. I'll welcome our 2 panelists up here. So first up, Andres Berry, and from President of JetBlue Travel Products, and then Matt Gagan, CEO of Under Canvas. Welcome, guys.
Now for our panel discussion, please welcome CEO of Under Canvas, Matthew Gagan, in conversation with the President of JetBlue Travel Products, Andres Berry.
Well, good morning, guys. Good to see you. So we'll jump right in. I mean, one of the first themes in this report is aim high. And Matt, I'll look to you on this one. But it is this idea that it's not good enough to merely meet and satisfy our customers. We need to bring back the magic a little bit. We need to excel. We need to delight. How are you doing that? Tell us about it.
Thanks, Kevin, and good morning, everyone. Great to see you in person. First of all, just a bit about Under Canvas. What we do, think of a combination between an upscale hotel meets a safari camp. We have 10 locations around the U.S. And what it is the combination of safari-inspired accommodations with an ensuite bath, distinctive lobby, and then also great food. But it's really unified by this beautiful location that you can see one of our camps here outside of Lake Powell. So, our locations are predominantly around these outdoor destinations, like Grand Canyon, Zion, Yellowstone National Park. And what the problem we're trying to solve is it's really related to the magic, bringing it back for that outdoor trip. Often you're looking at these destinations, these gateway towns to these outdoor destinations. They're defined by 2 types of accommodation. Camping, which comes with equipment and not really the comfort that perhaps everyone in this room might be looking for. And also budget hotels, which could be pretty homogeneous, oftentimes undercapitalized and kind of mixed quality. So that's where we come in. And so the magic that we're looking to do is to create this place and this space that connects you to the outdoors, right? With a distinctive product and with associates who really engage customers and talk and really connect you to the environment. So, I think 2 levels of it. It's part of our business model. We pick these beautiful places, we program them, we connect people to the environment. But it's also little things, And in hospitality, I think a lot of us get that, is, how do you create those memories and those moments? So we really do focus on the little things, the rituals around connecting around a campfire, enjoying a beautiful sunset. We have a lot of coastal customers who, may not get a chance to see the Milky Way very frequently. And our camps are beautiful and set for that, which is really novel. But so little things and really, leveraging the nature of what we offer. So I thought I'd give 2 examples of, customers types who can come into our setting and really kind of create that and feel that magic.
And by the way, it was very nice for Brian Chesky yesterday from Airbnb to set you up saying that going and visiting national parks was the biggest trend of the last year, and that he sees the data saying we're not stopping that either.
Yeah. Well, on that point, I see this is about acceleration. We were doing extremely well before, and then, with the pandemic, it's just been a roller coaster, but up. So here's an example of, think of a family going on a bucket list trip to Yellowstone National Park. So a number of you have either done that or are planning it, right? Once you have kids, it kind of triggers a need to go show them these things that you have to check off the list. But, you think about that experience. It can be about traffic, a lot of car time. I grew up outside of Yellowstone National Park. Dad was a ranger, and I used to see it all the time. People are supposedly vacationing, but they seem pretty stressed until they actually got to the location. So you think about what we offer is a plan. You land at a camp like this. This is 10 minutes outside of West Yellowstone. And, it's mom and dad get there with the kids. They're a little bit frazzled. They get into this site, Madison River is flowing through it, and they can breathe, right? Literally, you can let the kids run. They can go explore the river. They can see wildlife right near the site. Mom and dad can enjoy, a cocktail or a beverage on the deck of their tent, and really connect to the place, right? So rather than fighting your kids to turn off the TV or stay off their Snapchat account, which my teens are doing all the time, this is what we offer. And on the small things, we don't offer Wi-Fi intentionally, right? And it's amazing to see how people engage in a different way. So again, that's magic to me, a lot within that place, but it's also little decisions. The next example I'll give is an adventurous couple, from a coast, like a late 20s. Imagine you're coming from San Francisco and you want to be kind of cool, explore a new area, but you're not really looking to give up the comforts of, an upscale hotel. So here's a camp we opened up just in this spring, which is a whole nother story about working through the pandemic. But we opened up outside of Lake Powell, right near the Grand Staircase National Monument, which is incredible. So it's a chance for this couple to go off and explore this new place without, with all the comforts of, great food, really comfortable bed, not the deprivations of camping, right? So I love camping, but this is kind of the combination of those, the best of. So in this case, you're right next to bucket list destinations like Horseshoe Bend or Lake Powell and its slot canyons. Slot canyons are a real thing these days, but most people don't know how to get to that, right? So we made it more accessible, and that's what we're about. We're creating that magic. For them, the magic is discovery, which is really effectively, that's why I love travel.
It's awesome, and I can give a completely biased recommendation. I took my family to the Yellowstone camp in July, and after 10 hours driving from Denver, getting out there, having the kids go in the river, it is all true. And that is, I think, exactly that first piece that in our recommendations of aim high, right? You should be looking for signature experiences, that delight, and so we love that. The second recommendation is about looking forward and knowing your customers better. It's not good enough these days just to think you can send out surveys and know what customers want and customers' needs and anticipate customers. So how do you get to know customers better with all of that data out there? Andres, JetBlue is known for its experience. It's been a sign of the industry ever since it came out. And how do you guys think about this? How do you guys think about looking forward and knowing your customers better?
And good morning, everybody, and thank you for having us here today. Look, a little bit of context. As you mentioned, JetBlue's heritage is to create a great customer experience. And what we've started doing, in addition to investing on the flight, is we create a subsidiary Travel Products that is about how do we extend that customer experience beyond the flight? How do we bring some of what has made JetBlue special to the broader experience? And I think one of the ways you talk about getting to know our customers better, the more we can serve them, the better we get to know them. The more that we can have touch points where we make their experience better, the more we can learn about them. And one of the things that we did a couple of years ago is we relaunched the JetBlue Vacations program. So the idea of a bundle package is not new to the industry, but we went a little bit in the other direction of what we've normally seen in the market, and we just made it a much richer product. So we included things like priority boarding, you get your first drink and flight is free, but we also launched our JetBlue Vacations Insider. So in destination, we have somebody who's providing the JetBlue experience. As soon as you get off the plane, they will take you to the hotel. It is included in the price of the package. And they're available 24/7. You have anything that comes up when you're in destination, they're there to either by phone or they can show up and help you out. And we've seen tremendous take rate. I mean, the places where we offer this, the likelihood that customers buy vacation packages now has gone through the roof because of this extension of the experience. And what that also allows us to do is we can now serve the customers that much better. We have a lot more information about them. We know where they're staying. You can imagine the last 12, 18 months, travel has not always gone according to plan. People have things that come up. And when we actually have all the information about the trip, our ability to service those customers has been much greater. Our ability to communicate with them on the back end, et cetera. So we're seeing a lot of, both in terms of the customer experience and then knowing where they are, a lot of success and momentum there. And then if we go to the next image, I mean, this goes back to the core business as well, and we continue to innovate there. And as many of you know, we've launched transatlantic service a couple of weeks ago. It's the places where we like to see our opportunity. We saw very, very high fares and an experience that maybe wasn't up to par. And so we've launched, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's a new version of Mint. It's a fantastic product, but again, it's reacting to what are customers telling us? What are they telling us in our behavior? This is something customers have been asking us for quite some time, and so far the reception has been great. But like I said, it's a brand new Mint product. The non-Mint part of the cabin is fantastic as well, and we're excited about as the corridor starts opening, how we'll be able to serve our customers here as well.
That's awesome. How many of us are excited to actually fly over an ocean at some point? Right? The boom of domestic travel has meant that that's not been as high on the list. So, Andres, thanks for that. I mean, I love to see the innovation. I love to see. I know one of the biggest problems in customer experience, right, with airlines has been you don't control the rest of the travel journey, right? So, on your first example there, you really are able to know what people are doing throughout, anticipate differently because you don't lose that connection. What kind of early feedback have you gotten from that? Like, as you look at, you mentioned the growth in it. What are customers saying that's different than what they had been doing before?
Yeah, no, it's been amazing, and I do think in a world now where there's more uncertainty, we had planned some of this before, but now it's come to the forefront. When we look at customer surveys, NPS, it's amazing to me how much they will call out their JetBlue Vacations Insider by name, and they say, hey, I had something come up, I need a dinner reservation, or my room wasn't what I expected, and Carlos showed up, and he made it better. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, obviously, some of it manifests in terms of people telling their friends, and then you start seeing revenue come forth. But we see it in the, like I said, I pour over every customer feedback that we get, and it's been amazing to me how much they call that out. And to your point on knowing the whole trip, there has been more challenges to people traveling. People want to go on a vacation and relax. There's been more challenges with entry requirements and can I actually go and can I change my trip and things like that. And the fact that they can make one phone call to us and we will change anything that needs to be changed, either your dates or if you want to go to a different destination, hey, you thought you were going here and now you either can't go or don't want to take that trip. We've gotten tremendous feedback from customers that the fact that they can make one phone call, that they get JetBlue quality service, and their entire trip is completely rebooked. We continue to see that a lot in what customers tell us.
Awesome. So our third recommendation, so maybe to go to the last piece, is move fast, right? In that you have to think like a startup. That might be an easier thing for you, Matt, just knowing where you guys are right now. But what is it about execution and agility that matters so much right now? Because we see this as you can have the best strategy, but if you're not able to iterate fast, get into there, use real-time insights, you're going to get left behind. So move fast. How do you think about that for Under Canvas?
Yeah, it's a reality that we've been living in the last year and a half, and even before that, right? So I've worked in some big companies, running innovation groups at some large hotel companies, but I definitely I'll try to give some lessons learned from our experience. Because we're small, we're growing. We have 10 locations, so we're right at that kind of in between where we've got some scale, but you can easily get too spread out. So I'll give you an example. We're about growing our number of locations across the U.S. around outdoor destinations. And so we asked our customers, where would you like, this is a simple one, where would you like the next camp? And so Acadia National Park started coming up the list. And when you actually explained it, people loved it. It's islands off the eastern coast of Maine. And so we set a goal of shortening by half our development timeline. We really were focused on getting this camp open for this season. So typically it can take up to 3 years, right? From market identification to actual opening. And so we set a goal of a year and a half. And so this was, first thing was like, it's set a clear goal and prioritize. And then we mobilized this team. In the last year and a half, it's just been super challenging to execute, things on the ground. But the way we got around that was we put people in the field and we empowered them. Sounds kind of, generic. A lot of people talk about that, but we had to. It's kind of funny. Here's our camp up outside of Acadia, and last year it seemed like everybody in Maine was redoing their second home. So maybe some of you guys were doing that. But it made it challenging for us to get landscapers and contractors to stay on the job. So we literally had to put our resources and really, really focus on it and lead from the front, right? A lot of big companies can get lost and things get ground down, right, by the matrix, right? So for us, it was in the field making course corrections and improvising and just really figuring out how to get it done. But it took a lot of effort. Magic looks great from a guest experience, but boy, is it hard. Sometimes it looks like a lot of sleeves rolled up and shovels in the ground. So, that was my experience over the last year and a half.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Andre, same question to you. I mean, JetBlue is no longer a startup, but how do you guys still maintain that culture?
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, first of all, some of this has been by necessity over the last 18 months. I mean, we've had to pivot and adapt pretty quickly, and I've been impressed by how all 20,000 of our crew members have been resilient and adapted to new realities every few weeks. I think specific to your question on bringing new ideas to market, and one of the things that we've done and why we built the travel product subsidiary is we saw a lot of opportunity. And the idea that airlines see, hey, customers are traveling on us, maybe there's more ways to serve them. That concept is not new, but it's not necessarily been executed against particularly well in history. And so one of the things that we did early on is we actually created a separate team. So my team actually sits in a separate office. We have some physical separation. We're in Fort Lauderdale. We're still part of JetBlue. We still work very closely with all of our Matrix partners. But you have a team in order to get some of these products off the ground that is fully dedicated. And we do operate a little bit more as a startup. And it's a smaller team. We have many ideas of how we're going to extend the JetBlue brand beyond flights and some of the things that we're bringing to market. One of the things that I'm proud of earlier this year, we brought a whole new platform for customers to enhance their trips that we launched Paisley by JetBlue. It's a small team that brought that to market, and we did it in conjunction with JetBlue, but at the same time we had a small dedicated team who's iterating on this. We're trying to create new ways for customers to buy travel. We're creating new ways for experiences, and the only way that we get there is by iterating constantly. We don't have the 5-year roadmap and say, okay, this is what we're going to deliver 5 years from now. Each week we do releases on this platform, and we learn from it. And the other thing that's important too is our risk appetite is very different, right? I mean, so one thing is you have an established company, you start changing things, you don't know what direction they're going to go in. When we launch Paisley, which is our new travel platform, there isn't much revenue that we're putting at risk. This is an entirely new concept. And so we can all of a sudden take a lot more risk. We can try new things. And I think that combination of having a parent company that's been built on innovation and has a track record of creating great customer experiences, but at the same time building small dedicated teams within it with a little bit of separation and taking them out of the day-to-day of running a large corporation has served as well. And I'm proud of some of the things that we did to innovate the vacations products. Paisley is our focus right now, and we have a couple of other ideas like this, but we're running mini startups within JetBlue to get there.
That's great. I think one of the things you guys both mentioned is the team, right? And having that small team, cross-functional team. If there's one lesson from customer experience across industries I continue to learn and see and recommend it to move fast, it is about how do you step outside of just being functionally excellent and be cross-functionally excellent, right? Because it does take more than that. A lot of great companies grew up getting very good at certain disciplines, but to then move fast, to think fast, to iterate fast, you have to go back to a different model, which is that smaller mindset, that cross-functional mindset. And I think that's great that that's what you guys are doing. So thank you both. Really appreciate it. As you can see here, the report is going to be out on McKinsey.com and Skift.com, so please check it out and learn more about all the research that went into it and what's going on in customer experience across travel. And Matt, Andres, good to see you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here.